Hello, good morning and welcome to News 6. We're live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 125. Across all our social media handles, we are Joe News on TV. Coming up, the Electoral Commission identifies discrepancies in the serial numbers on presidential ballot papers for the Brekum West and Brekum East constituencies in the Bono region. We have details as the EC directs political parties to present representatives to monitor the reprinting of the affected ballot papers, scheduled to take place today at 10 a.m. Also coming up, accept the will of the people when we declared. That's the charge from the Electoral Commission as it implores presidential candidates to accept their fate post the declaration of the election results, assuring the EC's commitment to supervise a free and fair election.
It is the will of the people that is expressed at the polls that will be announced, and we entreat all the presidential candidates to accept the outcomes of the result.
We have these plus business updates coming up within the next 60 minutes. My name is Faustina Safo. Take a seat and be my guest. Thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless, incredible journalism. Now we start with the Electoral Commission because they have identified discrepancies in the serial numbers on the presidential ballot papers for Brekum West and Brekum East constituencies in the Bono region. In Brekum West, some serial numbers on the ballot papers differ from those on the counterfoil, affecting a total of 8 booklets. In Brekum East, they have inconsistencies and duplication in serial numbers across several booklets, including 3 100-sheet, 150-sheet, 125-sheet, and 2 10-sheet booklets. Now, to address the issues, the EC will reprint the affected ballot papers through the Ghana Publishing Company. Political parties and independent presidential candidates have been directed to send 2 representatives each to observe the reprinting process, scheduled for today, Friday, November 29th at 10 a.m. at the Assembly Press here in Accra. Well, on your screens now is that statement from the Electoral Commission, just giving us a wrap of some of the things they would be doing. We also know that the Electoral Commission, they have identified shortfalls in the presidential and parliamentary ballot papers for several constituencies in the Volta region. We'll bring you that shortly, but let me just take you through the first statement from the Electoral Commission. It says the Electoral Commission has identified some discrepancies in some serial numbers and presidential ballot papers for the Brekum West and Brekum East constituencies in the Bono region. In Brekum West, the serial numbers on the ballots are different from that in the counterfoil. It is made up of 7 of the 100 booklets and 1 of the 25 booklets for the presidential ballot papers. The Electoral Commission, they go on to say in that statement that as a result of these discrepancies they have identified, they would have to go on to print new papers. Now, they go on to say for Brekum East, there are inconsistencies and duplications of serial numbers. They go on to say this is made up of 3 of 100 booklets, 1 of 50 booklets, 1 of 25 booklets. Serial numbers do not follow sequential order. They go on to say that, and 2 of 10 booklets having the same serial numbers. The Commission shall submit the above ballot papers to the Ghana Publishing Company, Assembly Press for reprint. Political parties and independent presidential candidates are to provide 2 representatives each to observe the process on Friday, 9th of November 2024 at 10 a.m. at the premises of the Ghana Publishing Company, Assembly Press here in Accra. Well, I've just been telling you that the Electoral Commission, they have also identified shortfalls in the presidential and parliamentary ballot papers for several constituencies in the Volta region. It includes Keta, Ketu North, Ho Central, Hohoi, and Ho West. To rectify the issue, the Commission has directed that additional ballot papers be reprinted by Acts Commercial, and that statement is coming up on your screen shortly. as we look at the two issues that the Electoral Commission have pointed out. It goes on to say the Electoral Commission has identified some shortfalls on presidential and parliamentary ballot papers for Keta, Ketu North, Ho Central, Hohoi, and Ho West constituencies in the Volta region. Balls will be printed by acts of commercial, political parties and independent presidential candidates are to provide 2 representatives each to observe the printing process scheduled for today, Friday, November 29, 2024 at 10 a.m. at the premises of Acts Commercial Printing House here in Accra. So 2 different statements from the Electoral Commission. Let me bring in the Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the National Democratic Congress, Dr. Rashid Tanko-Computer. Thank you for your time. Later, we'll be joined by the Director of Research and Elections for the New Patriotic Party, Evans Nimakwa. I'll start with Dr. Rashid Tanko. Looking at the 2 statements from the Electoral Commission, the issues they've identified in Brekum East and West, as well as other regions, and especially the Volta region, I'm wondering, how confident are you in the Electoral Commission's ability to address the ballot paper shortfalls?
Very well. Let me say good morning to your cherished viewers and to you. I must say we have serious challenges with the Electoral Commission, the way and manner they are handling these issues. Because initially, we all agreed to the processes and the tenets upon which the ballots are going to be printed. Now, afterwards, we started experiencing these challenges upon challenges. It doesn't augur well for the statute or the credibility of the Electoral Commission. For instance, the issue of the Volta region is as a result of statistical mistakes or errors that we've identified. Because if you look at the shortfall, it emanates from the Electoral Commission own statistics. Okay, the statistics they generated and sent to the print houses were not correct. Last minute, we saw it last minute, and we indicated that to them.
So the NDC drew the attention of the EC?
Yes, when the ballots were sent down, when we rechecked the statistics, we realized that the statistics were not correct. For instance, in one of the constituencies, they were supposed to print 642 per the voter register of the constituency. They needed a combined ballot booklets of 642, but they rather sent statistics of 640 to the print house. So, of course, what do you expect? The print house is going to print 640, and our agents therein, because they were holding on to the same statistics as sent, so they will also monitor, and they did their job fantastic, and make sure that the 640 were backed. But unfortunately, the real statistic was supposed to be 642. So when they arrived and rechecked and realized that they would be too short of ballot booklets. So that is why you've seen these shortages coming out. And I think if they have put the statistics attached to the letter they've written, you would have seen it. That yes, clearly, it is the problem from the Electoral Commission. The way they generated their statistics were not in conformity with the numbers as generated from the summaries that I was requesting for during our last IPAC meeting. Because if you look at the summaries there in constituency summaries, regional summaries, you will be able to track the ballot statistics as used for the printing. And that's where the problem came from. And so the Electoral Commission needs to sit up. And I'll give time up to our officers at the region and then our supervisors as well for the eagle eyes that we are putting on this.
Now, I'm just going through the EC statement. So you are responding to the concerns they raised for Brekum West and Brekum East, where they said they had serialization errors. We know that you'll be sending your reps to the printing press today because they've served notice that they'll be printing new ones today. We're just finding out from you what you would expect. But there's another issue they raised, which is in their second statement about shortfalls in the presidential and parliamentary ballots for Keta, Ketu North, Ho Central, Hohoi, and Whole West constituencies in the Volta region. Your thoughts about that as well?
Yes, that's what I was just explaining to you. The Brekum issues is about the serial numbers, the serialization of the distance. That is the problem there.
Yeah, but for the other statement, they raise concerns about shortfalls in ballot papers. That's for the constituencies they mentioned in the Volta region.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying the shortfalls is the creation of the Electoral Commission because their ballot statistics were not correct, are sent to the printing houses. So nobody can blame the shortfall of the print house or the agents at the print house. Our agents did a fantastic job and make sure that they were all monitoring the statistics as sent by the EC. But upon hindsight, when we check the numbers, we're looking at the numbers, the ballot statistics as given, and then the summaries from the register, then we realize that there would be a shortfall. Because, for instance, like the one you just mentioned, I can open this thing and then you look at it. And I'll explain it to you how this thing happens. For instance, if you take this place, just a minute, I'm just opening the shortfall for Volta region.
Yeah, they make mention of Keta, Ketu North, Whole Central, Hohoi, Whole West constituency.
Yes, I've just opened it. So you will see that, for instance, if you take Keta, for instance, the 100 booklets, they were expecting to print 462, but the Electoral Commission sent 460 to the print house. So that's why the problem. They were supposed to print 462 booklets of the hundreds, but they rather sent 460. If you check their ballot statistics, they sent to the print house. The 100 booklets under the Keta is 460. So definitely, naturally, you are going to have a shortfall of 2. So the generator of their statistics didn't do his work well.
And this is coming at a time where really we just have 8 days to the December 7 polls. And so confidence in the Electoral Commission could be affected, isn't it?
Of course, that's why we are using our eagle eyes. We want to make sure that the right things are done. And then so we are following through every process they are doing. And we'll monitor it closely. Because we want to win fairly. We don't want any problem with our win. Because we are winning the election. And we want to win fairly. That is why we are doing all this. So clearly, we have the statistics. We have looked at it critically, where the shortfalls are coming from. And if you take their ballot statistics as they published earlier, you will be able to track all this. And that helps us to track it. And we are sure that with these processes, we will not have any difficulty. That's why we've asked our agents to follow up for these shortfalls to be printed and then deliver accordingly.
And I know that your agents will be at the 2 different printing press this morning because they served notice that they will be doing reprinting at 10 a.m. today. What specific measures will you advocate to ensure transparency when the printing is ongoing?
Very well, you know.
Well, we seem to have lost connection to Dr. Rashid Tanko. And let me bring in Evans Nimakwa at this point. He is Director of Elections for the New Patriotic Party. We've been hearing from the NDC raising concerns about the confidence in the Electoral Commission with just 8 days to the December 7 polls. Evans, thank you so much for your time here on Newsdesk. Now, let me start with the serialization errors that the EC pointed out, specifically in the Bono region. And then there are shortfalls in the presidential and parliamentary ballots for the Volta region, some constituencies in the Volta region. Now, how do you feel this issue could undermine voters' confidence in the process?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I think for us as New Patriotic Party, we've been monitoring this exercise. And if you appreciate printing of ballot papers, you understand that when the EC had generated ballot statistics that take care of the number of people per polling station, and with a certain percentage increase to take care of challenges on election day. Printing is done based on those numbers. And then at the printing houses, there are political party agents who must see to it that the numbers will meet the statistics as have been generated. But it's human thing, and therefore there can be some challenges. This is not the first time the EC is bringing to our attention some of these shortfalls. I remember there were issues with Lambusi, Nora, Ayawaso West, Tema West, with some shortages, some having to do with faulty ballot, and therefore had to be brought back for some corrections to be made. It was the reason why the New Patriotic Party found it bizarre when the NDC supervisor, Jakpa, was going around directing or instructing printing houses to destroy the plates they use for the printing. You see, it is after you've sent out the ballot papers from the printing houses, which have been checked by the EC and party agents, to the district, and it is received. They also, as EC officials, will go through with party officers and stakeholders to make sure that ballots that have been brought to the district will meet the numbers as indicated. So at that point, we are likely to find some challenges here and there. But we are looking at, across Ghana, 276 constituencies. We are printing ballots for 40,648 polling stations of different booklets, 150, 25, and 10. So it's an exercise you must be very meticulous to go through. But sometimes we have challenges from our colleagues NDC. If you act from the printing house where voter rating was printed, the kind of challenges the NDC brought to the checking and dispatch of the ballot, you'll be amazed. But hey, it's a human institution. We must all open our eyes and make sure that what is being done is done fairly to all stakeholders. You go through this election. I know the New Patriotic Party, our presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will emerge victorious. We only ensure that all stakeholders play to the rules of the game. So this is where we are. We've been invited for this consideration at IPAC. I think that this issue is going to come up, and we'll go through it.
As a political party, knowing your stake in the upcoming election, are you pleased with the conduct of the EC, knowing fully we have just 8 days to the polls with these little issues about shortfalls and serialization errors?
You need to look at the number of ballots per these constituencies involved and how many are we talking about. You take the Adekotopon constituency in Greater Accra, and after sending the ballot to the region received by the district officers, you are told that there are shortfalls of 50 booklets, 4 of them 25 4 and 10 of them 4. And if you look at the quantum of ballot papers the printer house was directed to print, and you want to use these numbers to say that there's no confidence in the system, you will be entitled to your opinion. For us as New Patriotic Party, our eyes are on the ball.
What
People
steps do you propose that
should go through the exercise without any inhibition? And so, judgment as to the conduct of the electoral exercise, we are not passing judgment now. We are making sure. That is why at all times our agents are there. And when it got to the district level, it came up. All parties at the printing houses signed and put their seals for ballots to be transported from Accra to various regions, including the East, including the NDC. that at any point in time they are raising concerns of people printing excess ballots. If there had been excess ballots, would the EC come back to us that there have been shortfalls? We should hasten slowly when it comes to electoral-related issues. We must get it right. That's the position of the New Patriotic Party. So
what steps are you proposing the EC takes to reassure the public? As we wrap up the conversation, Evans, what steps do you propose the EC should take to reassure the public of their competence in organizing a free and fair election?
At any point in time, the EC must carry along stakeholders so we get it right. So we go through this exercise peacefully to have one Ghana, and New Patriotic Party will win these elections, I can assure you.
Let me bring in Dr. Rashid Tanko-Computer. He's back on the lines. Thank you, Evans, for your time here on NewsX. As we wrap up the conversation, Rashid Tanko, we're just making a point before we lost you. We're just looking at 8 days to the December 7 polls. I know you will be in that IPAC meeting scheduled to take place at 11 a.m. What should we expect that the NDC would be raising before the Electoral Commission?
Well, we've received the agenda for the meeting. We are going with clear mind. We're listening to them as usual, and then we ask relevant questions pertaining the upcoming election, that is the special voting, and that of the general election itself. I mean, we'll ask relevant questions. There are some gray areas we want them to address before we go into the battle, because we want to win massively. We don't want any underdealing anywhere. So we want to have some serious top-notch questions about the activities that are going to be carried out come December 2nd and December 7th. So we will go with open mind and make sure that the EC give answers to the relevant questions, because we strongly believe this might be the last IPAC meeting before NPP is kicked out of power. It just left with some few days for them to leave. I'm told some of them have started packing from their official bungalows. Some have started taking their documents from offices because they've realized that the NPP will go down. It will lose this election. We are told, we are monitoring them closely.
What makes you so
they
confident,
shouldn't worry.
though?
A proper handing over, we're done.
What makes you so confident, though?
Oh, yes. Oh, but do I need to tell you that the NPP will leave office in the next 7-8 days? Definitely they will lose. They are going to lose this election massively. In fact, they will receive one of the heaviest defeats since 1992. This year, they will receive the heaviest defeat that they've never thought of. With this terrible economic, terrible situation we find ourselves in Ghana, who will go and vote for them? It is only those people who are enjoying the loot that they are doing. They will try and put their thumb on the NPP. Otherwise, ordinary Ghanaians, right-thinking Ghanaians, nobody will go and vote for them. They will lose. And I'm not surprised some of their senior officers, they've started packing from their bungalows. We are monitoring them. They've started packing. And some of them are packing their documents from their offices because they realize that they are losing the election. Nothing will stop them from losing. They will lose. And we have worked for it. And that is why we are doing all this, our eagle eyes on them, monitoring the Electoral Commission 24/7.
Thank you, Dr. Rashid Tanko-Computer.
We'll be.
When you go to the IPAC meeting, you were just finalizing on that point. What would you do?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We will listen to them. We'll listen and hear from them what they have. We've seen the agenda. They are talking of accreditation and collation. We'll find out. We are told they've recruited some collation officers. We'll find out the rationale behind all this.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rashid Tanko-Computer. He is Director of Elections and IT for the NDC. Earlier, we spoke to Evans Nimako, Director of Elections for the NPP. Now, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission has disclosed exclusively to Joy News that the EC will exclude and conclude on all election-related deployments and training today in readiness of the 2024 general election, which is just 8 days away. Speaking on the sidelines of a ceremony held in Accra, where all 12 presidential aspirants committed to peace, the EC chairperson also added her voice to the need for peace before, during, and after the election. Other aspirants and stakeholders who were present are equally hopeful about a peaceful poll. Blessed Suga has more in this report.
My message is that they should come out in their numbers and vote in an orderly manner.
We are hoping that it will be a peaceful exercise. You have added your call for peace. We know that the political parties also have a role to play. What are you sending out to them in terms of helping the exercise and making it, a success?
Well, on the part of the Commission, we commit to carrying out transparent, robust electoral processes and elections come election day. And as indicated during my presentation, we would announce the will of the people that is expressed at the polls. It is the will of the people that is expressed at the polls that will be announced. And we entreat all the presidential candidates to accept the outcomes of the result.
We're just 9 days away. Are we ready?
We are. I think we are ready. All our materials on the field, our training has taken place. It comes to an end tomorrow. But in all our materials that are in place, we have a good supply of equipment. Our officers are well trained, and we are ready.
Thank you so much. And that's the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam Jean Mensah, just speaking a while ago and reiterating that indeed the process has started. In just a period of 9 days, we will indeed be heading in for that election. But this is where all of the action is happening, where we have seen tonight all the presidential candidates going into the elections coming here to commit to peace before, during, and after the elections. And as we've heard from the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, that process is set to happen, and she's promising that it will be peaceful and will reflect the will and the outcome of people. I want you to take a look at what's happening, because some more of the candidates are filing through. And we'll try as much as possible to engage them. Let's speak to Dr. Hassana Yariga, who's also here. Dr. Yariga, thank you for talking to us. Quite a spirited message there to the people of Ghana on the issue of peace. What more do you have to add to this?
I had a lot to say, but because we were given 2-3 minutes, I couldn't say much. But then, you see, the country is tense by political communicators, the way they communicate, party leaders, the way they communicate. People who come here and sign the peace pact. But whether in their minds, in their hearts, you are really for it, it's a different thing. What kind of mindset do we have when it comes to peace? What kind of attitude do we have when we come to peace? Are we really for peace? Or are we coming here to sign a peace pact and then live here and incite our members not to accept the results of the election? These are some of the things that we need to look at. Signing a peace pact is nothing when you don't demonstrate it with your attitude, when you don't demonstrate it with your mindset, the leadership skill. Okay? We only have one Ghana, give or take, no matter what we do. We have one country to save. And elections are all every 4 years. Why in a rush? Why do you think it's a do or die? At the end of the day, one party is going to win. Whether your party or another body's party is one. Even if we have 100 candidates, it's one. So why do you want to kill yourself? Why do you think you must be the only one? So I believe that when we ignore certain problems that are facing our nation, like war in Baku for the past 3 years, and government cannot resolve it, how then do you expect to have a peaceful election? Are you sure that the people of Baku will be voting on the 7th of December? Are we sure there will be guarantee in that community for electors to come out and vote? Are you sure there will be a guarantee for the Electoral Commission to go and supervise the election? These are questions we need to ask. Because the banks are running out of the place, the institutions, the business community, everybody's running out of that place. And we have put a blind eye as government, as citizens. Then we come and organize big forums like this to talk about peace before. Meanwhile, we have ignored war in part of the communities.
Dr. Yarga, it's a long night, but grateful that you've turned up today to commit to peace. And of course, Brace, if you can hear me, we are live at the Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel, where all the 12 presidential candidates have just filed through. We heard exclusively from the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam Jean Mensah, who's also told us that the EC is ready. That's an indication to us that, of course, they are ready with just about 9 days to the exercise. This is where all of the events happen. And of course, we need to get close, engage some more persons and stakeholders who are part of the exercise and making it happen. We'll also get to speak to some of the region's leaders who were part of the exercise today. I want us to hear from Sheikh Nur Shaibutu, who speaks for the National Chief Imam, who was also here today. Sorry for interrupting, but you're live on Joy News. We just wanted to briefly find out from you the presence of the Chief Imam today. Why did we see his presence today? We are live, yes.
Yeah. Chief Imam is a huge personality in the country, and everybody knows him as the pillar of the peace of our country. So it was really significant for its symbolic purpose that he himself comes to see what exactly is happening. We briefed him and told him, old man, you are 105 years. This is the country you want to live as safe and peaceful, harmonious and cohesive. We are going to sign this pact, and you must come to see. And he readily decided to come. But for the time, he also wanted even to give some words of advice here and there. So we are happy he came, and we're happy all the other presidential candidates, show their commitment. Look, they could have decided to abandon this thing, but all of them decided to come. There's something deep about it.
I would just tell them that the new president is around.
Yeah, so I think that Ghana has won the battle. We've shown commitment. We know peace is an all-time need of our country. We cannot compromise it. There's no alternative to peace. There has never been bad peace, but always there also has not been good war, good violence. Yeah, and so this kind of commitment for me is something I cherish, and I really commend all those of us who have contributed in one way or the other to make it a success.
And indeed, we are grateful, Sheikh, as always, for talking to us. But of course, Brace, just as you can see, the commitment is clear that we need peace before, during, and after the 2024 general elections. And we wait to see in just a period of 9 days if Ghanaians will live to that promise. There's reporting from Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel. Over to you.
You're still watching NewsDesk. We'll be back after this breather. Thanks for staying with us here on the Joy News channel. Now, let me take you to Safari Valley Eco Tour. Now, it is back this week, and this week there's a lot of excitement. It keeps growing. This time we have added an additional 100 students who are eager to be part of the whole experience. And let me take you there. Jackie is on standby. She'll tell you all about it. Jackie, this time you need to go with me.
Yes, Fasti. Last week you promised to join us on this tour, and you're still missing out though. You're about to kickstart with the third edition today. The students arrived not long ago. They are having their head count right now. And I want to speak to the camp manager, Iris Nikwe, for her to tell us what we are expecting today. I mean, the day is fully packed, and we want to find out. Iris, how are you?
I'm good.
To start today's tour, we want to find out what are the activities that will be happening today.
Yeah, so the students are in, the head count is ongoing, just as you said. After that, so we'll be walking them to the various animal camps. We have 4 different animal camps. Educational tour on environment, how we sustainably use our resources also. Okay. Then from there, they walk to the various camps. When they are done, they move to the recreation area, have a little play or activities, and then we take off from there.
Okay. Well, Faustina, just as you can see right now, we are at one of the camps. We would say it's one of the recreational centers right here. It's a golf course. But Iris, can you tell us more? It is a pool, but is it a pool?
No, okay. So as part of our conservation plan or strategies, we try to bring in things that will benefit the environment and also our animals. In Safari Valley, we don't have a natural water body flowing here. So we create various water features. So right behind that is a golf hazard. Serves as habitats for some fishes. So inside we have about 2 different types, like the red tilapia and also some catfish. Also, we see our water beds going in to cool themselves. So you can see some ducks loitering around the hazard currently.
Okay. Now, well, so it means that it helps in one way or the other. It helps for the ducks and also for the golf course, where when they play, the balls goes in there. But then I'll keep asking this question: has it always been tedious taking the balls out? Because then when it goes, we know the balls are supposed to get into the hole, but rather it can fall into these the water body here.
Yeah. So just as I mentioned, that it makes the game more competitive. So.
I can't wait to be there with you, Jackie, because my spirit is there as we speak. But it's time now for business. Daryl is in the studio. Daryl, what is happening?
I mean, only yesterday we were talking about a retreat right at the end of the year to clear our minds. I was talking about Barbados, but anyway.
I'm thinking Dubai, but you know, Barbados is okay.
All right, but maybe it's Safari Valley. All right. Time for business. 14 deprived students who risked termination of their university education have completed various programs of study without a hassle thanks to the MTN Bright Scholarship. Beneficiaries who were selected nationwide had the cost of their tuition and accommodation covered, whilst they received laptops and stipends for books. It was all joy as relatives joined the beneficiaries, including 7 of them who received first-class honors and 6 second-class students at the graduation ceremony. My colleague Ohimen Teria, who was at the graduation, has more in the following report.
Tai Samuel is a first-class BSc Chemical Engineering student at KNUST. The former student of the Menya Krobo Senior High School at Odumase Krobo gained admission through KNUST's less endowed admission policy, having emerged as the second-best WASI student. But his poor single mother, who hawked cocoa tea and iced kinky, could not raise funds to support his tertiary education after his admission. Samuel was then forced to go into construction as a laborer to cater for his education.
I'm actually still being parented by a single mother, so I've lived with my mom throughout. He's a petty trader. He sells this cocoa tea, ice cream kitten. So that's what we've been doing all this while. So even when I was in GHS, I do carry it and go around with it. Even when I was the school boys prefect and all that. We were on vacation, so I traveled from KNUST and went to Techimai. That was my first time. It was a certain construction work. They build warehouses, and I went there. So it's this what the boys call the Kwankwo job. So you carry blocks and you mix concrete and all that. Although I'm not used to it, but I had no choice.
But Samuel was relieved of his financial burden thanks to MTN Bright Scholarship. He is happy to become the first ever chemical engineer in his community as he graduates with first-class honors.
MTN, in fact, they have done very, very well, and I really, really appreciate all that they are doing. So it's not only the tuition they give us, they pay for our hostel where we sleep, and they also give us money per semester for our upkeep on campus.
An elated Victoria Makute, Samuel's mother, traveled to Kumasi to witness his son's graduation. She is full of gratitude to MTN Ghana for the support extended to her son.
MTN phone. We see me that one senior Michelle. Someone bought me money at Mayo University. University of Science and Technology, Kumasi.
Samuel is not the only beneficiary of MTN Bright Scholarship. He graduated with 14 other beneficiaries at KNUST alone. Among them are Emmanuel Yoku from Nandom in the Upper West region and Joseph Jano Chati from the Othi region. They bagged first class in BSc Chemical Engineering and Telecommunication Engineering respectively.
I want to be a researcher in energy and sustainability. So I want to be part of people contributing to the development of novel techniques that address some of the world challenges like global warming. So we know that climate change and global warming are caused as a result of some human activities.
Through this scholarship, I've been able to fully focus on my academics, which has led to significant achievements, including Excellent Student Award in the College of Engineering multiple times, and finally graduating with the first class honors in BSc Telecommunication Engineering.
To me, the MTN Bright Scholarship is a life-saving scholarship because after entering uni, the journey has become a challenging one financially. Thinking of how to pay accommodation, your school fees, and how to even feed yourself became a tough one for my family.
The MTN Bright Scholarship is open to continuing students with excellent academic results pursuing first degree programs at any tertiary institution. This year, MTN Ghana doubled the number of beneficiaries for the scholarship due to compelling needs in society, especially students. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohime Interior reporting.
I can see Tech TV and the University.
All right, nice way to end the bulletin. Back to you, Fosti.
For bringing us business, and that's how we wrap up the bulletin. For more news, please log on to myjohnline.com. My name is Faustina Savo. Good morning.